Hello everyone, it's me the Boss Hole with our weekly motivational video. Let's do it. Alright, so in terms of updates, first of all, I got a haircut, so a less scruffy looking boss hog. To be honest with you, I felt really dishevelled, and for any man who sort of has a bushy tash, you know what it gets like, where it starts like interfering with beer, and as soon as that happens, of course, it becomes serious. So I finally found the time to get my hair cut, and honestly, I feel so much better for it. Next up, part of the reason why it's taken me so long is because there was a lot of illness in my home last week. Honestly, I've been the least impacted, but still a little bit scratchy. My wife's actually been quite unwell, and our daughter has been maybe not quite as bad as my wife, but definitely sort of suffered a little bit over the weekend and early parts of this week. And she just doesn't sleep well when she's ill for obvious reasons, which means we don't sleep well. So there's definitely been some kind of like struggles during the time. I think it's fairly common at the moment, like everyone seems to be getting colds and stuff, so nothing super serious. Definitely my wife was the worst, and she's been having to go into the office quite a lot this week, so I think she's feeling more exhausted than me, but I'm definitely feeling it as well, in all honesty. On a really positive note, my wife, who's only been at her job for about 6 months, her job, maybe close to 9 months now, but her job place had quite a big restructure where I would say that my wife got a big fat promotion. She's basically reporting into her previous boss's boss, so she's kind of moved up a level. And although there's no immediate change in her job title or salary, it's, I would imagine, something to be discussed toward the end of this year when they do salary reviews, etc., because it is a significant promotion. My wife is absolutely delighted, but is being already worked very hard for it. But most importantly, she feels like a big winner. She feels like her work is being recognised. And my wife, being increasingly senior in a private equity organisation, is potentially going to be earning very real money. So that feels awesome. I'm very happy for her, and yeah, I just think it's awesome, basically. So good for her. And I added another 1K to investments. We do actually have a reasonable amount in the bank at the moment, but we're about to go on holiday at the end of this month, or technically early February. So we wanted to keep a little bit extra just in case. And to be honest with you, over sort of Q4 last year, I definitely ran our current account a little close to the bone. So my wife asked me if I could keep in a little bit of extra cash, just because she didn't enjoy like being so close to the wire once or twice. So to be honest with you, I still have like another like 5K in the bank, but I don't want to put any more in at the moment, just because again, I kind of want to respect my wife. But still, it was good to add 1,000 into it, and the portfolio continues to look good. But it's important that we keep averaging in, right? In terms of what went well, my reading definitely was good this week. I've gotten really into the book that I mentioned that I was starting to get up and running. So it's called Never Split the Difference, and it's in theory a book about negotiating, but it kind of has a lot of life lessons. So I'm about half of the way through it currently, and I'm just really enjoying it. Maybe I'll do a summary actually, but the last couple of books I've read, I felt like I've got real enjoyment for them, which I guess is part of the reason for reading. I would say that some of the stuff in it I kind of like accidentally have touched on and kind of developed into my life, but then there's other bits where I'm kind of not quite optimizing as well as perhaps I could. So tons of like things that I'm reflecting on as I'm reading, which is again the whole point of it. So I'm really enjoying it, honestly. I'd also say that my kind of like self-actualization, feeling good, warm and fuzzy, has been feeling quite good this week. I've been helping a few people with various things, both on Discord and LinkedIn, sort of colleagues, people that I know, sort of not quite friends, but kind of like acquaintances, but people I'm certainly civil with. Just kind of do things like review documents, or be a soundboard, or provide some resource. So like I was helping a few people with like recruitment links, reviewed somebody's CV, that kind of stuff. So that felt really good actually. Like I have heard that, like, I helped my wife and my sister with their CVs and kind of get jobs shortly afterwards. It's something that I actually enjoy doing. So yeah, I guess as a general thought, if anyone has anything that they'd like me to review, I can be a little bit slow, to be honest, but at the same time, I will eventually get around to it as and when I'm able to. So, but I do enjoy it, and that felt really good. It makes me feel good to do it. Also, my planning's been quite good. I'm not necessarily a planner. Like, part of the weakness in my life, I suppose, is that I'm not much of a planner. So it's something that I'm trying to work on. I did a bunch of planning this week, so I'm seeing the guy who I would probably class as my best friend this weekend. It's his daughter's 1-year-old birthday, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm also organising a work trip to Moldova. I have a team over there, so that'll be my first trip to Moldova. So I'm going to sort of see if I can take an extra day and explore the capital. I've also got a work trip to Hampshire as well that I'm looking forward to. Quite an important work trip with the CTO and his number two, so that should be good. I've also got a holiday in February with my family. I'm really looking forward to that. We're going on a cruise with MSC. I've not cruised with them before, but it should be good. And I have my UK team meeting at the end of January, so I'm really looking forward to that as well. That's now been all organised, and I'm taking them out to lunch. And anybody that is able to stay the evening will have a few beers on me. So I'm not entirely sure what that will look like just yet, but I'll make sure that they have a good time and that we get something useful out of it, just so I can tell my boss it wasn't just putting everyone together to go for a drink. In terms of what was solid, I would say just generally that my work is progressing solidly. I have an important sort of end of January self-imposed deadline. I would have been in my job for 3 months, so for me it's like when I sort of want to present my, this is it, I've tidied everything up, this is what we're going to be doing moving forward. It's kind of like my problem, right? Before that it's like stuff I've inherited. Now it's a case of, right, I should understand it, this is what I'm going to be doing. So I've rejigged my team basically, and I've got my final 2 roles, both reporting into me, so manager roles. I think I've got my right 2 people, so they haven't started yet, but I think I know who they're going to be. I also got good comments from a difficult team and individual to deal with that kind of matters, that hasn't maybe had the best working relationship with my team in the past. For good reason, actually. I think I understand where they're coming from, and I think that's important. Maybe I can take some of my lessons in terms of my book on negotiation and see if that can apply to this individual in this team. But that felt really good, actually, to be honest. I sort of was joking about it with my boss, so we were having a good laugh about that. But again, in seriousness, it's important that I build those relationships because it will matter. And lastly, actually, in terms of my restructuring, I have somebody that I'm kind of giving an opportunity to, I would say. It's not without risk, because obviously, like, if it doesn't work out well, I'm going to look like an idiot. But I just think that they've responded so well to feedback and my concerns, which I voiced with them and explained what my thinking was. And I think over the last 2 months, they've responded in a way that you really just hope people respond to. So for me, it's really rewarding to see somebody kind of starting to fulfill their potential and sort of working with somebody who I can develop and grow with over time. So I'm really excited about that. Like, they have a huge responsibility within my team, and what they do will impact on me very heavily. So I'm hoping that works out. But so far, I've been really encouraged. Cooking was decent. Again, nothing super fancy. I did do on Saturday, my wife and daughter went to a museum together, so they had fun there. But so I decided to stay, and I was tired anyway and a bit stressed, so I enjoy cooking to de-stress. So I made a pasta bolognese from scratch, so no sauce. So that always feels good. I quite like sidestepping sauces, honestly. It's like, I know it's long-winded. I know you can pick up cheap sauce and just knock it out, but I actually forgot to buy a sauce, and then I was like, I've got enough tomatoes, I can do this. So I was really pleased with that. My wife and me and daughter, to an extent, demolished it. Also, as well, I picked up some venison over the new year and put it in the freezer and got around to cooking it. So I had quite a chunky shank. It was actually 3 portions. It was huge. So that was yummy. I really nailed the cooking. I'm not really a recipe chef. I don't know how long I cooked it for. I just kind of poke it, and when it feels about right, then I feel like I'm comfortable. And usually that works for me. Like, sometimes my in-laws, they're like, they're quite good cooks themselves, and I'll be like, Liam, how long should I put this on for? And I'll be like, honestly, I've got no idea. I just like turn on the oven and look at the colors, use my finger, etc., and when it's ready, right? But that feels good. In terms of what didn't go well, I guess this is where I'm quite disappointed, because week on week this area is completely unchanged, and the whole purpose of these videos is to kind of make sure that I don't have recurring failures, really. So I am actually quite disappointed this week. I guess I can asterisk it because we've all been working hard and a bit ill and everything else. But if I'm honest, I did have evenings where I did have time to go to the gym, maybe even 1 or 2 mornings before work. But it was just like, I just felt so tired and kind of just wanted a bit of space and time to myself, honestly. I just didn't go to the gym. And again, it's not even like I didn't have time. It's just the time that I did have, I didn't want to be in the gym. I just kind of wanted some time to myself and everything else. And likewise, maybe because I feel sorry for myself a little bit, the snacking could definitely have been better. I've been enjoying Ferrero Rochers this week. And one or two other things as well. So that's definitely, I shouldn't be eating too many of those, especially without going to the gym. So I really want to improve on this for next week. I'm going to make sure that we go to the gym like at least twice, and maybe I'll try to commit to going 3 times. Actually, I'll do that. I'm going to go to the gym 3 times. I've said it on this video, so if I don't do it, then I'm going to feel awkward in a week's time, and hopefully as well that'll kind of give me the drive and motivation to kind of be a bit more disciplined on my stackage as well. Again, I definitely don't think it's been helped by sort of illness and tiredness and everything else, but again, yeah, I don't want to have repeated things that didn't go well, so that's important for me to get on top of before it drags on. Anyway, I guess this week I would summarize it that what went good went very good. But what went bad continues to go bad, so that to me is kind of like it's a bit like a week of 2 halves in a way, and I will look forward to fixing it for next week. Anyway, I enjoy doing these weekly videos. It keeps me honest and keeps me focused. I know some people get value out of them as well. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. I've been the Boss Hog, and good luck with your motivation. Bye for now.